Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us for our Game Week 10 review and a Game Week 11 preview show. I'm Chris, and with me is the other half of the FPL Cougars team, Kieran. Hey.
Good evening, all right.
So tonight we're going to start off by reviewing our teams, analyse the main talking points from Game Week 10 fixtures, and then look ahead in a bigger preview section to Game Week 11. We're going to discuss captaincy options, our transfer plans, and mix in a few of the community questions as well, which people have been firing at us on Twitter. So, Keith, we're going to start tonight by taking a look at your score from the game week. So, do you want to run us through your team, your points?
Yes, 71, above average, obviously, according to FPL with 58 there. But Twitter-wise, it seemed quite low in general. I managed to get a red arrow down 2k places. I thought auto subs were going to really screw me over, but only dropped a little bit from them. So yeah, first red arrow in like maybe 5 or 6 weeks. Alonso, Edison, Fraser, Salah did great for me. Robertson, Hazard not turning up, frustrating. My move to Van Dijk from Trippier didn't work. I thought Cardiff, obvious clean sheet. But yeah, they scored with their only shot on target and they didn't do anything else the whole game. I was thinking double up for Liverpool would have been fantastic, great points. VVD's quite low owned. But yeah, luxury transfers never seem to work, do they? So yeah, live and learn, I suppose. But yeah, only a 2k drop, so I'll deal with that and move on to next week.
You got really unlucky there because, like you were talking about last week on the show, the plan was to get Van Dijk in for the home banker clean sheet, switch to Mendy the week after, and for him to lose the clean sheet after they rotated Robertson as well, and him getting a little toe poke just on the end of the ball before the Cardiff goal. Oh, so frustrating.
He hit the post as well. So he could have got a goal from Salah, from Salah's through ball to Van Dijk and hit the post. I mean, that would have been crazy good for me. But yeah, I at the start of the game, I was like, okay, a lot of people would have lost their only Liverpool defence cover here from Robertson being benched. This is a good differential having VVD come in and play. And then he goes and gets 2 points. And, obviously Trippier only got 2 as well, I believe. So, nothing lost, nothing gained, I suppose.
No, I had a similar week, really, 70 points, so one less than you. So that saw me jump from 133k to 118k. I was flying quite high. We were talking about the point spread is still quite small where I'm positioned. So heading into last night's game, I was like in 82k. So to drop, nearly 30,000 places off auto subs, I would guess, is quite a lot. And that was, like you say, due to Hazard being out, which came as a bit of a surprise because we thought he'd be back, didn't we?
Yeah.
We thought he'd probably miss the Europa game and come back in.
Yeah, obviously worse than we thought. But yeah, your lack of City defence punishing you.
Oh, again. So I took Mendy out in game week 5, I think, when he first picked up his injury, or game week 4, and I haven't had any City coverage since then. And yeah, in that time they've secured 6 back-to-back clean sheets. So yeah, watching them just stack up and then see that Edison get the bonus points last night. Yes, it's a difficult one to take. So I think my transfers this week are going to be surrounding City defence. But otherwise, quite pleased with Wilson. He's doing really well. His expected goals and assists he's the highest forward in the league for that. So really pleased with him. And Richarlison picked up a nice assist. Other than that, my differentials, Hennessy and Wan-Bissaka had to come off the bench, and Hennessy's continuing his 1 point scores. So yeah, more on him a bit later. Should we run through the fixtures and then mix in our game week 11 analysis or previews at the same time? So we'll start off by talking about Brighton versus Wolves. That's 3 back-to-back wins now for Brighton, and they've still got good fixtures away until game week 16. 2 at home though in the next 6 is a little bit of an off-put, and they only had 1 shot on target at home to Wolves. What do you think of their form at the moment?
I mean, obviously defensively they're pretty good, aren't they? Ryan, a hero again for these easier fixtures on paper. Another 9 points I think it was for him this week. So yeah, I'm thinking about Duffy or Dunk for Wan-Bissaka as a sort of small upgrade. Not sure I'll definitely do that, but yeah, I'd like to getting on their clean sheets. Their form's good in that sense. But I imagine if like loads of people are going to start flocking to Ryan now, but he's probably going to just as soon as they do that, he'll get wipe out and he'll start conceding. So that's just sod's law, really. You wanted to get on him when he got the first 11 pointer, and the last 3 has been great for them. So yeah.
I don't know if he can keep the rate of saves up, because I was having a look. He's had 17 saves in the last 3 games. I mean, how long can he continue to face that many shots and keep a clean sheet? So it'll be interesting to see how that develops. But he's picked up 7 bonus in 3 games, which is fantastic, isn't it? Really, if you got him in for those 3, you must be well.
He's super low owned as well, still. So big differential for anyone that has actually got him. Murray, clinical again, 6.5, providing value around the Wilson bracket. I mean, maybe that's too much for him. In my opinion, it sort of is. But he's getting the points. So I don't know. I think my reservations against him are that he's just too old, and I don't know if he's going to continue to get in those returns every week. And I don't know. It just feels wrong in my team. So I'm probably going to stay away from him. But I don't know.
He's proving consistent, isn't he? Because he's scoring, but that's it. It's like a goal a game. Or at home at the moment, I think he's scoring more. 1.3 shots per game. So it's not like he's, I don't know, you wouldn't watch him and expect him to get a 2 or 3 goal game. I think you'd be happy getting a single goal or assist off him. So it's a tricky one.
I think 5.5 is the right bracket, the Ings price, but 6.5. I think you want a bit more than just a single goal. But
and Knockouts caused a lot of grief for people, because he was quite a primary factor in a lot of people's sort of Kane transfers a couple of weeks ago. When people were upgrading to Kane for that Cardiff Huddersfield game, Knockout was seen as a really good option because he was 5/5 in midfield, and he allowed that boost in cash when you were downgrading someone like Salah and Mane. And he's been left out of the team a couple times now, and I think you've got to get rid of him now. It's just surprised he looked good.
I think you do. I mean, Izquierdo's come in for the last few, hasn't he? I mean, he didn't get a return the last game, but he's super low owned. I think it's 0.1% he's owned by.
Wow.
So, and he's 5.9. If you can get that extra 0.4-ish for Knockout to Izquierdo, might be a decent way to go. They still got great fixtures, so yeah.
On the other side of things, I was really pleased watching both Doherty and Bennett really on Match of the Day. I mean, Wolves it looked like they battered them really in terms of shots, and just couldn't find that breakthrough. Doherty had, I think, 6 shots in the game and 2 on target, so that was more shots this game week than Salah. Bennett had that great chance near the end of the game, and I knew he was going to, at that point, he was going to be coming off my bench because of Robertson's benching. So when I saw in like the 88th minute, big chance like missed for Bennett, I was like,
that would have been huge, wouldn't it?
That would have been great, because I imagine if score that, probably max bonus for a defender on the away team. So could have been a lot more points.
I mean, they've got tough fixtures, haven't they, coming up?
They do.
Arsenal, Chelsea, and a few weeks' time after that. Difficult for Wolves, but are they going to clean sheets going to come back? I don't know. I feel like I've broken Doherty since I've got him. They've got no clean sheets, no returns. Sod's law, isn't it? Again, just bandwagon mentality, and he just starts to get broken. Whatever.
I take it you're going to continue to keep him.
I think for the time being, just hope for those clean sheets to come back to them.
Well, I think we've both really, like many people, we've got him as well as Wolves' clean sheet potential as his goal threat. I mean, there isn't many of the wing backs or full backs even that are having as many goal opportunities and getting as far forward as he is. So, and for his price as well, 4.8, you're not seeing another midfielder or striker putting in the sort of performances and goal threat he is. So he just is incredible value still. Agree that he's got some tough fixtures coming up, but past that,
you compare him to like someone like Kennedy for 4.8, 4.9. He's getting more opportunities. He's a better team. Get clean sheet points as well. The value's there, isn't it?
Agree. Do you want to move on to any more to say on that one, or should we move swiftly on? So the next one to talk about, I think, is Fulham's. unsurprising loss against Bournemouth. Really, they just look in really bad way at the moment. I think they had one shot on target in the game, and yeah, it's a bit worrying for Mitrovic owners. Getting a few questions that have come in about what to do with him. You and I both own him. What's your plan with their form nosediving?
Oh, I think it's tough, isn't it? The next fixture is so nice, but they're in such poor form. Mitrovic, I don't think had any shots this week at all, did he?
No.
And he didn't get a cheeky assist this week either. So yeah, he's on the chopping block, isn't he? I don't know if I should get rid of him for Huddersfield or not. I mean, Watford went through them like butter. So Fulham could do the same, but yeah, I would like Arnie, but he can't really be trusted either at the moment. Wilson fixtures kind of turn, so yeah, I might just have to stick with him for the time being. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, yeah, similar boat to you really. Arnautovic has got the fixtures, but he's been so unreliable with both his knee and these surprise injuries and surprise illnesses. At least with Mitrovic, you know he's going to start and play the full 90 minutes. If they get a penalty, he'll likely be taking them. Yeah, they've got some good fixtures at Huddersfield away. Huddersfield don't concede tons of chances at home. We saw that against Liverpool. They were quite compact, but yeah, that game, I think they also play Southampton at home in the next 5, and they play Leicester at home, but it's those games away to Liverpool and Chelsea. I think if you've got someone you can rotate with him, whereas I don't think you or I really do, you've got Billing, haven't you, Billing or Wan-Bissaka. Yeah. Wan-Bissaka's got some difficult games, and Huddersfield is not that inspiring. Yeah, I think that's when it's a little bit more tricky, but I think I'm going to keep hold of him just for at least Huddersfield, and then go from there.
Yeah, I think same. Although I would like Arnie for this weekend against Burnley. They seem to be the whipping boys this year of getting beaten 4-5-0. Obviously, they're not bottom or anything, but they are getting hammered sometimes, and the hammers could do that to them as well with Arnie. So yeah, that's something to think about for me. Mull over.
What about Bournemouth on the other hand? You've got Fraser. You were getting sort of itchy feet about him the other week. You were worried. Now look at him, 11 points.
Yeah, he looks threatening again, didn't he? 2 assists, which is nice. 2 easy assists, it seemed like. Defense, which is terrible, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to keep him for probably the next 2 at least. There isn't really much around his price bracket anyway. So had him since game week 1, as I said last week, and his value keeps going up. He's already gone up once this week, I think, to 6-1 now.
Yeah.
So yeah, Man United away. It's not the worst fixture, or is it?
No, they're at home. They're at home.
And Newcastle away. That's a pretty good fixture for them. So yeah, hopefully they go cold in the United game, and then come hot again, as they seem to be doing in the Newcastle game, and get some returns.
Yeah, I was really impressed with his stats. Again, I had a look. So 3 big chances created. Obviously, the 2 of those were the assists that were converted, and 1 shot. He's still getting in and around the right sort of areas. And yeah, I think Bournemouth have been impressive. They've had a decent run of fixtures, but I think they're the sort of side with the attacking output they've got. They will likely create a lot of chances still, or a few chances against the big teams.
Yep.
So yeah, I think despite them coming up against United have had 1 clean sheet all season.
Absolutely.
Bournemouth are above them in the table. They're playing really well. I think keep him. And like Wilson as well. So I'm really, really pleased with Wilson recently.
I think Wilson's probably a season keeper if you've got him. There's no reason to get rid of him. He's providing form. He's creating chances as well for assists. Yeah, like it.
I was really pleased to see he took a penalty as well after being on the pitch the other night. Yeah, for when Stanislas was on. So it makes me think if King's not on the pitch and Stanislas is on the pitch, he's there. I mean, it was one of the worst penalties that I've seen scored. It was kind of slow and it was in the middle of the goal, but anyway. Do you know he's already surpassed last season's attacking output? So he's got 5 goals, 7 assists. Yeah, to have done it already, yeah, really good. Really pleased with him. But I think I've seen a lot of people are saying, what do I do with Wilson now his fixtures are turning? I don't think you don't need to change him. One for playing well, he's in form.
If you've got double up on there, then maybe get rid of one of them. But keep Wilson, I'd say.
Yeah.
Out of the 2, anyway.
Yeah, and fair play to everyone who's had Bournemouth defenders for the past 3 game weeks, because we hadn't been backing them at all. but 3 clean sheets on the bounce for a defensive unit which are usually around the 4-5 mark. Really surprised with
probably. If they can keep it up, they'll probably slow down, probably concede in the next few. But against easier teams, then their defense seems all right.
Yeah, no, very good. Any more you want to say about Fulham or Bournemouth?
Let's go on to the pool game.
The big pool game again. Liverpool against Cardiff. So Salah's biggest score of the season. There we go. This is what we were waiting for, Kieran. Waiting with our armbands ready. But do you know what made it worse? For non-Mane owners like ourselves, Mane made it way worse. We were both thinking it was a great chance for people who couldn't afford Salah. Salah were going, oh yeah, I'll get Mane in and he'll cover his points. And I was thinking, there's no chance he's going to cover his points. And then to see him get the same points. Anyway, well done to all Mane owners. One of the questions we've had actually comes from what the F. Oh no, it hasn't. It's come from FPL JK, who asked thoughts on Salah and Mane double up moving forward. We talked about it before, haven't we? Towards the start of the season.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I like it. I think it's something I want to do. It's just how. I think it's something I probably will do on the wild card. See, their defense is really, really good as well. So double up on defense is still an option. Yeah. But Alisson isn't as good as sort of Edison is for bonus and that sort of thing. And then the rest of them are kind of rotation worthy, other than Van Dijk, I guess.
Yeah.
I assume Robertson will play the rest. I mean, Robertson's not really going anywhere. He'll probably had his break and he'll be fine for a while. But yeah, I think Mane and Salah seem great. And if you can get 30 points from one and 15 from the other, that's huge. That's 45 points already, and you're probably on the average of the game week. So yeah, obviously they won't come against Cardiff against it every week, but they seem to be back to form and firing, and yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I think it's a difficult thing to squeeze into your team because there's lots of good options with Hazard and Sterling in the midfield at the moment, and also we'll get onto him a little bit later, but Mahrez is sort of creeping back into form. It's Aguero really which is holding that over 50% of the game have got Aguero, so I imagine that's why people haven't got Salah and Mane, because they've got so much money invested up front. At the moment, Mane's not really an option for me because I'm investing more in defence, and I see probably at the moment more consistent point scoring value in doubling up on Liverpool's defence than I would having Mane and Salah.
Yeah, sure. Fair enough.
Doesn't dispute the fact he's been doing fantastic, and I think those two are the prime Liverpool forwards to have. I mean, Firmino again. I mean, he must be so frustrating to own because he goes through these purple patches of playing really well and looking dangerous, scoring goals. But yeah, at home against Cardiff, he only played the 71 minutes, 1 shot off target in that time, and 1 key pass. It's just a quiet game. So I feel like if you're an owner with Firmino, it must be difficult because you're just waiting for that purple patch of points to arrive, where I think you're probably going to find better value and similarly consistent points elsewhere. Arnautovic, for instance, Wilson.
Yeah.
I think there's even Murray. I think there's players at 2-3 million cheaper that are going to deliver the similar or the same sort of returns, really.
Yep, I agree.
We also had a question from What the FPL, who asked who the best midfield option is under 5 million. Now, I wanted to include this one as we move forward and talk about Cardiff, because they now have some back-to-back home games coming up, and I believe they have 4 home games in the next 6. Josh Murphy, I think is a good pick, 4-8. So I picked him up on the show last week. He didn't produce anything at Anfield, but it's always going to be difficult, isn't it, when they hadn't conceded any goals at home. But yeah, he's averaging nearly 2 shots per game this season. That's 1.7 shots per game, which is great. And he usually plays the 90 minutes. I think he's a great one to look at. Another one is from Cardiff, is Camarasa. Is that, am I pronouncing that right?
Camarasa, I think.
Camarasa, okay. He's on corners, usually playing 90 minutes nearly every game this season, and 4.5 million midfield option as well, like Murphy. And I think that across these next fixtures for Cardiff, where they play some decent home games, Leicester, Brighton, Wolves, at home in the next 5, they play away against Everton and West Ham. I think you've got some decent chance of returns there. And one option which I'm thinking about for my team, which we'll get into a bit later when we talk about our game week 11 and moving forward and previewing the rest of the games, is how Mitrovic and Cardiff players actually rotate quite well. So one of my plans is to downgrade a midfielder to a Cardiff player, either Murphy or Camarasa. Okay, we're doing better there. And then rotate when Mitrovic has got his tricky away games at Liverpool and Chelsea for a Cardiff player who'll be playing at home.
I mean, there's another one to mention is Patterson, who got the goal against Liverpool. He's out of position midfielder playing up front. Yeah, obviously Mendes, Lang, and Medine and Ward are all injured, I think. And he seems to be the preferred one, lone striker with Reed supporting him. If you want to go there, he's 5.2. He's just slightly over the 5 million mark, but seems a good bet as well.
Yeah. Okay, I think there's some players. There's none of them which are going to really blow you away in that bracket, but I think those are probably the best of the bunch. I'm not so keen on Kennedy. Newcastle were just looking so poor.
I mean, there's obviously Billing as well. He's for the under 5 million. He's consistent, 90 minutes. So if he's not injured, he'll play. Stevens as well just got back. He's 4.4 now for Brighton.
Yeah,
and he'll play 90 minutes if he's fit, which he has done. So yeah, the consistent 2 points basically. I mean, the attacking ones are Murphy or Billing or Camarasa. That's about it.
That's what you want, though, isn't it? Really, for a player you're going to bench, as long as they're going to at least play and potentially pick up those 2 points for a game like in this sort of game week. If you've got a bench player, it's points in the bank. When players like Hazard and Robertson don't play, you're getting at least something off the bench. Obviously, it's great if they score or assist, but it's nice just having that comforting 2 points.
Absolutely,
smiling at you.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add from that game?
No. Let's move on.
Moving on from Kennedy to Kennedy, because we're going to talk about Southampton, Newcastle, but we're not going to say a lot about it because it was dreadfully dull and there's not really many talking points. I was just going to mention that because I know that Ings is still fairly well-ish owned as a striker. He had 3 shots in this game, and it's a consistent theme with Southampton this season. They're making chances. They're actually quite high for chances created this season in the top 5 or 6 teams in the league, and they're just not converting them. So it's if you've got Ings and they're not scoring at home against Newcastle, I'll be worried. And it's just wayward shooting. So Southampton had 4 on target from 22 shots, and Newcastle had no shots on target from 6. So it's poor really, and I can't really recommend any players from either team.
If I had Ings, I'd probably be getting rid of him. Just downgrade someone like Kamara / Success, and just invest the 1 point something elsewhere. Really, I think he's not providing goals, so I think you just need to cut ties. And their fixtures are quite bad as well. So,
should we? Talking of success, shall we jump straight on to Watford Huddersfield? Sorry, Southampton Newcastle fans, but get some goals and we'll talk about you. Yeah, success is really interesting me. So I talked about Cardiff a minute ago. He's a real strong consideration for a Mitrovic replacement if I go that way. So it's interesting that he's playing essential. So he's played every game this season, and now Deeney in some capacity. Gray's been back, hasn't he? But he's still been playing, and he's looked lively, and he got his goal. But I'm just a bit worried if Deeney comes back, is he going to get put back on the bench? Is he going to be playing out wide?
I mean, I think he probably will get benched, won't he? But he's going to still play some minutes, which is more than anyone else around 4.5 is really doing. Obviously, Kamara did start this week, but that's very rare. But Success is at least playing like 5 to 10 to 25 minutes, even if he's starting on the bench. So it was someone in that bracket. If you need to come in for 1 point or 2, if he does start, then that's good.
And what I would say is Watford have done well away against Wolves, and then at home against Huddersfield, and Success has led the line in both of those games. So unless Yavi is going to change the formation straight away, could you see that happening? I mean, he knows that he's won with Success in his side. I don't know.
I mean, Deeney has been benched before. So Success could keep going. I mean, why change a successful record, I suppose? Yeah.
For 4 or 5, I think he could be one of those players that, over the next few game weeks, if he continues scoring at 4-5, he's looking like a really great option to even either play in your team every week and be a good enabler, or just a fantastic bench option. Their fixtures do get a little trickier in a bit, but they've got they've got 3 away games against Newcastle, Southampton, and Leicester in the next 5, and they're home games, which you'd sort of usually envisage playing a 4.5 million striker at home against Liverpool and Man City. So mixed, I think we'll say on the fixtures. Mixed. Do you want to big up your boy Deulofeu?
Yeah, he was a consideration in game week 1 for me. Obviously, he turned out to be injured, but yeah, he's back. He looked good, didn't he? Had a goal. Had I think he created 2 chances as well. Oh no, sorry, 1 chance created, 4 shots. Looked really annoyed when he missed a sort of really nice, easy chance as well. So it looks like he's hungry. And at 5.4, good possible Fraser replacement or Maddison downgrade if you want to go that way. The fixtures are okay as well. So, I mean, he's not playing the full 90 minutes, which is a concern. But,
Lives Maddison.
Well, yeah, true.
Usually.
Yeah, he looks decent. I mean, Hughes as well in that team looks good. At 5-0 still, he's still playing. So, yeah, I like it. Like him.
Because Deulofeu is playing out of position, isn't he, really? He's classed as a midfielder and he's playing just up front behind the striker. Yeah. No, I was pleased he took his goal well. And like you say, that one where he rounded the goalie and just sort of chipped it wide from outside the box-ish. He looked irritated. So, no, if he's motivated to do well, he's the sort of player that can chip in with goals and assists.
Yep.
And, he's a good price. What about Pereira coming back into form a little bit as well?
Yeah.
2 goals in 2 game weeks. Fair play to people who brought him in, because a lot of people brought him in based off the fact he got that goal against Wolves. He's still owned by 16% of people, which is quite high. I think a lot of that is due in part to sort of the game week 1 rush, because he did well in game week 1. And a lot of people brought him in on the back of that, and they just still have him. So max bonus, and he could be back. I think he's another really interesting option at 6 million.
Yeah, I agree.
He's sort of. In the last couple of weeks, he's put Maddison and also Richarlison a little bit to shame, because he's turned up. So it'll be interesting to see if he can continue this chipping in. Now that they've sort of recaptured their form a bit, they got a bit shaky, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they really impressed me away against Wolves, and just clinical and perform well against Huddersfield. So got eyes firmly fixed back on those two. Turned it around a little bit.
Yeah, agree.
Is there anyone else you want to pick out from those games? I feel just nothing really to mention on the Huddersfield side of things, apart from your boy Billing, 1 pointer off the bench.
Yeah, which is fine. I was going to mention Kiko Femenia. Assist plus 3 bonus, clean sheet. I think he's 4.5 as well. If he can continue playing, good option. He's pretty attacking, so like him.
Because Holebas got left out again, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he didn't play at all. I don't think Kika plays on his side, but I was quite surprised at that decision, because he'd been so creative. But I wonder if that back-to-back clean sheets without him in the team.
Yeah,
it's a surprise. I keep your eyes peeled on the team sheet for this weekend, and it might be time to move Holebas on. To be honest, irritating, because you'd be keen to play him in a home game against Huddersfield, and for him to not start when there's options like Doherty providing such a good attacking threat, I think he'd be a good option.
Yep.
Or good replacement. So next game, Leicester. Do you know who they played?
West Ham.
That's right, they did play West Ham. So it was a difficult aftermath to the game, obviously, with such sad scenes. And following on from that, it's been a really difficult week for everyone close to Leicester. Yep. So condolences to anyone that's been affected by that tragedy. In the game as well, it was a Marty injury towards the end was a really nasty one. So it was just a bad cloud surrounding the game, really. I mean, it feels a bit strange to talk about the fantasy side of things, but I think we probably should go over it. Anyone that really stood out or impressed you in this one?
Obviously, the standout was Vardy benched. That was a bit strange.
Yeah.
Obviously, he had that kind of weird virus illness thing. but he said he was over it, and so I don't know why he wouldn't play from the start. I don't think that'll happen again for him being benched. They could tell he was on at half time. Could tell it didn't work for them in the first half without him. But yeah, Maddison looked involved in the first half, had a few good chances from set pieces and things like that. But second half, after that red card, he seemed to drop really deep for some reason. And he just wasn't involved and just wasn't doing anything at all. And I don't know, really frustrating, honestly. He's peeing me off a little bit. His returns are dried up completely. And yeah, if their fixtures weren't so good, I would probably get rid. I mean, who knows how they're going to react to this, this tragedy that's happened. So, yeah, not sure. I mean, their game against Cardiff is going ahead next week, so that's good news. But Maddison, yeah, is on thin ice as well at the moment.
Well, I agree with you. So yeah, 4 key passes, 1 big chance, 3 shots. It was a strange performance though, because in the second half they were obviously chasing the game, and to see him playing so deep, basically all he was doing was just spraying balls wide, wasn't he? To Chilwell, who was making overlapping runs, and he was just trying to dictate play, but he just wasn't threatening. I think it's because Puel put so many strikers on. They needed someone to play a little bit deeper and find them, but it was just really. You think you want your players to be going for it, trying all they can do to get back in the game, and to see him sort of sat on almost on centre circle or just inside it, spraying balls around, it just wasn't that inspiring, really.
That second half, he did not pass the eye test.
No, he didn't at all.
There were so many times where he could have played just a forward pass, but he would just pass it across to someone, just the easy ball when they were just standing right next to him. Just like, why make that pass? And then just so many times where he could have like passed it on and run forward like a pass and move, but he just stood still and did nothing. And that was just really frustrating to watch. And just annoyed me. And he's I'm not a fan of Maddison at the moment.
Who is there in that bracket that you'd
I mean,
be thinking about?
If I was going to get rid of him, he'd go to probably to Delafeu, something like that.
Oh, so you downgrade rather than up?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I think we'll talk about him a little bit later, but I think Sigurdsson's
I've looked
could be a really good Maddison,
but it's just difficult to afford him.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's on all the set pieces similarly to Maddison, but he's just got that improved goal threat.
Yes.
I think he just looks a bit more clinical. Should we crack on to Sunday's games?
Yes.
Start off with the battering Chelsea handed out at Burnley, mainly due in part to Ross Barkley.
Yeah.
Where does that come from? What a hero! So he's only got 2.6% owners. He clocked up with 17 points, which was the 4th highest game week score of the season.
Yeah, that 1 point behind Fraser in game week 5 on 18. And just with similar sort of ownership, just smashing those points in. I didn't expect him to even start, let alone do this. I mean, he turned up, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Shout out to FPL Whale out there for his owning him this week and getting him in. I was giving him some crap for it, but good on him for picking him, I suppose. The bandwagon is already on. He's already gone up once this week. We'll see if he continues to do well. But I would still say he's a rotation risk, honestly. He's certainly not nailed, but get him at your own risk, I suppose.
Well, the competition for his place is high, isn't it? So they've got Kovacic. Why am I pronouncing his name wrong? It's
Kovacic, or something like that.
Kovacic. Loftus-Cheek is obviously scoring now, and Fabregas probably to come back in sometime soon, I would imagine. Obviously not take his place, but what he's got above those others is just that goal threat and presence. So I think he's a decent pick. And Chelsea have got some good fixtures coming up. Like 4 of their next 6 are at home, and that's Palace, Everton, Fulham, and then they finish against City. So yeah, they got some decent home fixtures, and I would have thought he plays in the game against Everton because it's always good to play against your old club. So I think he's for 5.7 or 5.8 as he is now. If Hazard's going to be missing more games and you want some Chelsea, I mean, I don't think he is, but if he is and you want some Chelsea coverage, or you want to double up in attack for those home fixtures, could be worth a punt.
Yeah. If you not for me personally, but if you want to go that way, I think he's an okay option.
Would you rather the double Chelsea defence than the double Chelsea attack?
I would, yeah. I mean, Barkley's not going to match Hazard's returns because obviously Hazard will come back. He was in training today. He'll probably miss the Carabao Cup game just for more rest. And then he'll come back in on the weekend. So he's finally trained again. He's obviously back to being okay. So yeah, that might hinder his place and his returns. Yeah, I would prefer to do Luis or Aspie or Kepa or Rudiger as a double in defence.
Yeah. Well, I think Rudiger's 0.1 more expensive, isn't he? Because I think Rudiger's 5'9". So if Barkley's 5'8" now, I think I'd probably prefer Rudiger for his security of starts in those home fixtures and that double up Chelsea defence.
Yep.
And also continuing to talk about their defence, one of my considerations this week is to get rid of Hennessy, and I think Kepa is providing, good value-ish at 5'5". Obviously, players like Ryan, Patricio are providing better value at the moment. Chelsea's are now on 5 clean sheets for the season, and with those 4 home games in the next 6, I would back him to keep clean sheets against Palace, Everton, and probably Fulham as well. So I could see 3 more clean sheets in the next 6 at least. So I think Kepa could be and 5'5", the cheapest route into the Chelsea defence. He could be a nice differential because I think he's still quite. His ownership is low.
Many save points, doesn't provide bonus. But,
that's the thing.
I mean, 6. There's nothing to sniff at.
No, you'd be happy with 6 every week. I'll tell you who's not got 6 this week. Who a lot of people are saying, "Oh, I'm just bored of his 6 points. I don't want more." Marcus Alonso, Kieran.
Yeah.
Oh, what a backheel assist! Totally meant it. Backheeled it into someone's leg, bounced off, and
we'll take it.
We will take it indeed. So that's why he's a season keeper, isn't it? Because people writing him off saying, "Oh, he hasn't returned for weeks." Guys, you've got to give him patience, all right? And he almost had another assist, didn't he, for Giroud?
I mean,
he played a nice cut back to Giroud.
Getting clean sheets,
he is getting clean sheets.
What do you want? He's 6'7", but there's that chance of those assists, like with Mendy and stuff like that. He's there.
Yeah,
and he's got free kicks in his bag as well when Willian doesn't take it off him. So I won't be getting rid.
No, he's staying for the long term. Was there anything you wanted to say about Burnley? Because I've got nothing written down that's inspiring me about Burnley at the moment.
0 things written down for me as well.
0 things written down. They've had a strange run really because they've just been conceding goals. So 9 goals in the last 2 games. Obviously away against City and home against Chelsea. So some top teams there. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like the same spirit for last season. They've got the fixtures now. West Ham away, Leicester away, Newcastle home, Palace away. So really 4 good fixtures there you'd expect them to get points from. I think a lot of people are still on Joe Hart, and I think he's going to show his worth in those games. Save points, bonus. I'd expect him to rack up the saves and show why he's a decent 4.5, 4.6 million goalkeeper. Anything you want to mention else, Burnley? No? Okay. Moving swiftly on, Crystal Palace 2, Arsenal 2. What a game. I really enjoyed this one. It was really good.
Yep, it was good. Hand of God assist for Lacazette. Obviously didn't actually get the assist in the end, FPL-wise, which I think was kind of good or not. I don't know. Not for his owners, obviously, but I think justice was done.
Agree, yeah.
Yeah, Millie, could he be an option again? Not sure.
I don't know.
Obviously, their fixtures are horrible, but could he be an option in the future? Maybe.
The reason that he gets, they've had 3 penalties in 2 games now, and it's just due to Palace's play style. They've got so many sort of tricky dribblers in Zaha, Ayew, and Townsend. If they get in the box and a defender sticks out the leg more often than not, their style of play is going to get them penalties. And we saw at the end of last season, didn't we? That he was just banging them in, and I think people would have set up a little bit more if he'd scored the one against Everton as well and start saying, okay, he's an option. But 3 penalties in 2 games and to score 2 of them.
Best huge differential, and he was great last year for that. So.
Those were his only home goal, or Palace's only or first 2 home goals this season, though. So for the fact that it's taken to game week 10, obviously they've not played 10 home games, but the fact it's taken that long to register 2 or their first goal,
sure,
is a bit of a put off, really, considering they've had such good fixtures and they're difficult now. Can I talk about Hennessy a little bit and get your opinion on it? Because I have Wayne Hennessy. I knew he was going to be going through these tough fixtures, and I thought he'd pick up some save points. But this is 2 games back-to-back now, away against Everton, home against Arsenal, where he's just picked up or just finished on 1 point and not finished or not got any saves or any save points. So I don't know what to do, really, because he's still got to go away against Chelsea, and they've also got to play at home against, I'm just going to check, Tottenham, and then away against Man United. So 3 tough games. I'm wondering, do I take a hit to get rid of him this week, or do I just persevere?
Well, I think you were thinking of Edison, weren't you, as a hit?
I was, yeah.
So yeah, I'd say
Edison and Kepa are my potentials.
I'd say that's obviously worth it. But there's obviously other good 4.5s of Ryan, Fabianski, even Foster, Watford. He got 9 points this week, which is great for his owners. So there's 3 4.5s that are with decent fixtures and good for save points and stuff like that, and good keepers. So they're options if you want to do that. But obviously, if you're intending to get Mendy or something like that, dash your way into City defence. Maybe you don't get the double up and still get value elsewhere. I would probably get rid of him, that's for sure. But for the hit, I don't know.
It's a difficult. I think if I were to get rid of him for a hit, I'd want it for a keeper that's going to come in and make an instant impact. That's why I've been eyeing up Kepa. So with 4 home fixtures in the next 6, I could see him getting 3 clean sheets from those 4. Then I'd see I get return on my 4-point hit, if that makes sense. And I did have a look at Fabianski as an option. So 2 bonus points he got against Leicester, and that's 6 bonus for the season. They've got 4 good home fixtures in the next 6 as well. I'm starting to look a little bit more medium term now. You probably hear me mention it a lot tonight and going forward, Geek. But I'm looking now 4 to 6, maybe even 8 games. If I can find I'm looking for teams, I'll call them out as well this week. But the teams who have got at least 4 home fixtures in the next 6, and West Ham are one of those. Chelsea are another one. Yeah, West Ham, Burnley, City, Cardiff, Palace. Thing is, West Ham's defence is better. But they've still, I think it's 2 clean sheets they've managed this season. Maybe 1. And I know they managed definitely 1 against Chelsea, which was sort of even a surprise clean sheet. So I want goalkeepers that are first and foremost more than likely to get a clean sheet. That's why I'm interested in going. I mean, last season I had De Gea, set and forget all season, and I didn't have to worry about him, and they returned 18 clean sheets last season. De Gea got hundreds, I think it was 147 saves all season. So I'm tempted to revert to that model of picking a 5-point something goalkeeper, so Edison, Alisson, or Kepa, and sticking with them.
Yeah, any of those 3 are good options. Yeah, I'm surprised De Gea hasn't really dropped in price that much. Because United are going to start keeping clean sheets eventually. But yeah, say Kepa seems good for a hit. I think that's probably worth it, actually.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna more thought on that towards the end of this week, but I want to see how the League Cup plays out and if there's anything that comes out of there, which is worth taking into account. Bellerin injury at half time. He's owned by 12% of the game. I think it's almost not a blessing, poor Bellerin, because he's injured. But Bellerin owners, would you think Man City coverage is essential now?
Well, if you don't have it already, then yeah, absolutely. 6 clean sheets in a race speak for itself. Laporte's a cheaper way into the defence, or Edison, if you want to go that way. And Mendy's back to being good as well. Obviously, he was pretty bad yesterday, but
he was pretty bad, yeah.
But he's still Mendy, isn't he? Still
Mendy. Okay, so I just want to finish on by, unless you want to add anything, but I was just going to finish on Zaha. I said he would struggle in these games, but he's proven me wrong. He got an assist for the penalty, and he could have had another one at Everton. So he's ticking along, 7-ish million. So he's still quite a lot when you consider what Wilson's doing. But he's obviously bettering Mitrovic. So yeah, fair play to him.
Do you think Lacazette owners are getting a bit itchy feet as well?
I think it's funny, isn't it? Because we were talking about him. It's only it's amazing how things can flip around. But we were talking about him only a few weeks ago as being a really good solution to an Aguero replacement. I think he's just Arsenal had some. Yeah, I don't know. I was surprised by the performance. They had 2 shots on target all game, and I don't know. Away against Palace, I would have thought they were more threatening. Ozil didn't play particularly well, and I think that affected them.
The fixtures are pretty difficult as well.
Yeah, they got that big game against Liverpool coming up this weekend, haven't
Yep.
they? And they got Wolves at home, Bournemouth away, Tottenham and Man United in the next 5, so they are tough. But Aubameyang's obviously coming into form now, top of the goal scorer, top of the forwards points chart.
Yeah. What have we got here? I went 15, 12, and an 8 in his last 3 games.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've been on sort of less chances or not many chances. He's just been cool.
Yeah.
So, like I've said before, there's the value in possibly owning both of them. So I still think they're both going to get returns, but they're kind of flip flopping between them, aren't they?
They are
and you don't want to have one of them and the other one return. That's just so frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they're both going through purple patches at different times. So maybe just stay away from both of them is the answer, maybe, because 11 and 9.5 ish is quite a lot to invest in 2 players, isn't it?
Yeah, it is with those fixtures.
Yeah, not sure on those, honestly. I mean, like I said, it still seems like a good option, but two in his last 2 games isn't great. Sad times.
Yeah. Super Sunday. Man United Everton.
Yeah.
Rounded it out, didn't it? Martial looked dangerous.
Yeah.
He's continuing. His purple patch is bright purple.
It is.
Just blowing up, yeah. He could have had the assist for the penalty if Pogba hadn't pratted about.
Yeah.
And nice goal. 3 shots on target, and he also missed that one-on-one chance, didn't he, towards the end of the game? 7.3. Bournemouth up next. Martial. Interesting.
He is interesting, yeah. But I don't know. It's just United and it's Martial, and he doesn't run that much. I saw on Monday Night Football, he's like 2K per game less.
Oh yeah, that was really interesting.
Like and yeah, I mean, will his form continue? I would probably say probably not, just because of how inconsistent he is in general. But is he getting confident now? Is he? He's probably nailed on at the moment because Sanchez and Lukaku, I suppose, are not going anywhere near. Yeah, if you can keep it up, if you want to take that gamble, go for it. I suppose. I mean, I would like to, but I just can't afford him, so it's not for me. But if you've got that sort of money, then yeah, I think he's a good option. They've got decent fixtures as well.
No, I've been really impressed, and I think he can really pull people up the overall rank. Still, low ownership, and he's in great form. Getting that bond with Pogba, like you say, he's displaced Sanchez now, so that's going to give him a great confidence boost regardless. So I'm excited to see what he does. Another player in that bracket, of course, in 7-4 is Siggy on the other side. So he scored the penalty for Everton.
Yep.
He had to grab the ball off Richarlison, didn't he? Because Richarlison wanted it.
I didn't see that actually.
Oh yeah, Richarlison went to grab the ball straight away, and then he gave it to him. I was like, oh.
Okay.
But yeah, 6.8% owned Siggy. That surprised me when I had a little look. It's still quite low, isn't it? Yeah, 2 key passes, 2 shots on target in the United game. Took some of the corners, obviously the pen, and max bonus.
Yeah.
They've got some good home fixtures, but it's the away ones which are sort of putting me off any potential double up or Richarlison replacement just because it seems so sideways. But yeah, those away games against Chelsea and Liverpool are sandwiched in some great home fixtures, though. Brighton, Cardiff and Newcastle.
Yeah, I would like to get him in, but I just can't seem to afford it, unfortunately.
No, impressed, and I think he'll continue. Richarlison, I was impressed with his performance as well after sort of almost veering away from him last week. I think he played really well, stepped up, he made some good chances. I thought he was unlucky not to have more shots. I thought Walcott, especially in the first half, could have squared it to him. And when Bernard rounded De Gea, if he'd slotted that one away, it would have been an assist. And I thought Everton were quite dangerous, really. They impressed me. So, yeah, if you've got Richarlison, I'd suggest keep. So, yeah, can't see him going anywhere. Should we move on to the Monday Night Football, or do you want to add anything else from that game?
I was going to mention Lindelof. Still sort of nailed on. Proper low ownership. I think I've got down here. 0.9% owned. Yeah, it seems to be nailed on the moment, and they're going to start getting clean sheets soon enough, and their fixtures are good. Yeah, 4.9 value. He seems good.
It's very rare you'll ever find a United player 4.5, 4.9
Exactly.
in a fantasy Premier League. So if they can start putting some form to it, but one clean sheet all season, if they can start putting some clean sheet potential together,
I mean, they're going to do it
good option.
sooner rather than later. I'd say, like, they're not going to keep conceding like this. They'll sort it out, I think. But it's just when and if you get him in at the right time. I might think about him on the wild card, honestly.
Okay. Final game of the weekend last night. We were both excited. FBL DB asked, "Is it time to get rid of Aguero for Sterling?" What did you think of his performance?
Well, he didn't do much, did he? Honestly, he was pretty anonymous, just like Kane on the other end.
Yeah, true.
I would say not yet, personally, just because there's no one else really around that bracket. Lacazette isn't really performing either. You know, if you want to go down to someone like Arnie, that sort of value, I don't know, but it's possible. But he's 50% owned. If you get rid and he does anything, then you're not in a good place already. I'm not sure. What do you think?
I think they've still got great fixtures. They're top of the league, scoring goals. They've beaten difficult sides this season in away from home. They've gone to Spurs and won. They've gone to Anfield and what am I talking about? Beaten. They drew with Liverpool away, and Aguero came off in both of those games. And I think if he'd stayed on against Liverpool, he would have had the penalty. And if he stayed on against Spurs, the game got so open the last 10 minutes when Spurs were going for it. I think he could have easily got a goal on the counter attack. I mean, Silva played him through, didn't he? And really well in the second half. He went round Sanchez or knocked it past Sanchez and shot straight at Lloris. I think a bit longer on the pitch and he could have scored. So it's probably, although Sterling's playing well, I'd rather double than get rid of Aguero for Sterling, if you see what I mean. Just because I don't like Sterling's disappearing or surprise disappearance acts. So the fact he didn't play at all last weekend, or was it the week before? But last weekend. So I don't like that. Whereas Aguero has been starting every game so far this season, at least playing 65. So
I mean it's hard to sniff at that, really, isn't it? It's good that he's actually nailed on compared to Sterling or Mahrez, or obviously Mahrez has played the last few, and he's the only person in the game to get 3 double-digit scores. I think he's providing great value. He's 2.5% owned, which I thought was mental.
He's dropped in ownership a lot, isn't he? I think he's dropped in price a lot. I think he's 8.6 or 8.7, around that. So he's got 4 goals in 5 games now, and he's played 90 minutes in the last 3. I think he's coming into Pep's thinking. It's taken him a little bit of time to get up to speed, but he's showing really good form in that time. And I think if he doesn't play, unfortunately, he's going to come on for like a minute or two, isn't he? And just try and affect the game, which is why he's got so many 1-point scores this season.
Yeah. I mean, the midfield is the same as it was last season. That's why we were doubling up in their midfield to kind of cover them. Whereas Aguero wasn't nailed last season. Obviously, he is now, and we don't have to take that risk on their midfield roulette. But obviously, the roulette is kind of providing some people who own them with points. So it's if you want to take that risk, if you want to double up on them, maybe. And everyone thought KDB would be back in properly by now, considering he is fit, but he's starting on the bench. So
he looked a little bit off the pace when he came on last night. So I expect a couple more games and he'll be back up to speed. Before we move on to our preview for the game week, we'll just finish by unless you want to add anything else, but the Tottenham only 1 shot on target last night. Adds to City's defensive. I mean, they had some good chances as well, didn't they? Lamella and in the second half, and Kane in the first half.
Yeah.
And Laporte and Edison just continuing, and Mendy just delivering for their owners.
Trippier help for the goal as well.
Oh yeah, big time. A little bounced off his head, ran back, and then Sterling did him with a skill. Oh, bet you were pleased that he wasn't going to get a clean sheet, having it like wiped out early after getting rid of him.
I was not pleased that I didn't just go straight to Mendy.
Oh, I bet, But he was so bad. Ian Walker. Did you see Mendy tweet after the game, like, sorry for my performance tonight? I was like, well, at least you played shit. Sorry for swearing, but it was bad. Poop. Okay, so we do a preview for game week 11. And we've talked a little bit our thoughts already. Oh, I haven't got the graphic in for your team. It's all right. We'll be able to work it out. Clean. So we're going to talk. We've got a question from Captain Gaming who asked, "Do you guys have any transfer plans for the next few game weeks?" But do you want to talk about your team layout based on what it looks like at the minute?
So yeah, I think I'm going to be doing Van Dijk to Mendy. I think that's pretty much nailed on to happen. I think it has to happen soon because I think Mendy's due to rise. And it's just if I possibly do Mitrovic to Arnie, or if I downgrade Madison and then maybe -4 to get Wan-Bissaka to another Chelsea defender is what I was thinking.
Okay. Okay. Who could you afford if you did that?
I think I could just about afford Rudiger.
Okay.
But yeah, Louise, if I want to go to Louise, is fine. I can't get Aspie. But yeah, that's in my thinking for a double up on, so like a power 5, I suppose, or 6 if you include Edison at the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Madison downgrade would be to Defoe, and I'd probably just stick with Mitrovic. But I don't know if that's worth a -4.
No, I'm not sure.
That could probably be done by just me doing Van Dijk to Mendy this week, and then I'd have 2 transfers for next week, and I could just so that's in my thoughts.
I think there's lots running around in my head this week because, like you, I want to get Mendy in, so that's been primed for at least 2-3 weeks now since that Liverpool game. So I've got 2 transfers, and for the longest time I was thinking I would get rid of Bennett and Mitrovic for Mendy and Success. But now I'm sort of leaning a little bit more towards what you see on screen now. So still getting rid of Bennett, but now getting rid of Madison for the 4.5 Casemiro, Cardiff player, and then rotating Mitro and him when Mitrovic has got his tough away games at City and Liverpool. Is it City? Yeah, Liverpool and, let me check, Chelsea, sorry, my bad. And yeah, play the Cardiff player instead.
Yeah.
And then the luxury part of that transfer would be upgrading Hennessy to Kepa, Alisson, or Edison.
And that's a hit.
That would be the hit part of it, yeah. Because it would be the other 2 players I prioritise. And then it's just which team do I decide to double up on. And the 2-point difference in it is actually quite crucial. So Kepa is 5.5 and Edison and Alisson are both 5.7. And that 0.2 I save from getting Kepa could allow me down the line to upgrade Mitrovic to Arnie. Yeah. Whereas if I transferred and had exactly Alisson or Edison, I would have no money left in the bank, so I'd be 4-3-3.
I think you know which is the way to go then. And I think Chelsea seem like they've got the best fixtures and a good defence. So that seems like a good double up to me.
Yeah. So I talked earlier a bit about teams with 4 decent home fixtures in the next 6. So ones to consider there are Arsenal, surprisingly, despite their fixtures being bad, they play Liverpool, Wolves, Spurs and Huddersfield. Bournemouth have actually got 4 home fixtures in the next 6 as well, but 3 of them are against United, Arsenal and Liverpool, and the others against Huddersfield. But yeah, like we've said quite a few times, Chelsea have got 4 great fixtures coming up. Everton have got 4 great fixtures at home, so they've got Brighton, Cardiff, Newcastle and Watford. Really good 4 home fixtures in the next 6. So it's just those away games. Newcastle, Watford, Bournemouth, West Ham, Wolves and West Ham have got Burnley, City, Cardiff and Palace. So there's a good bunch of teams with good assets, which is why we've spoken highly of Arnautovic, because we see him as I think he's 16% owned. We know that he is the main man there, so if they're going to score or assist, it's usually going to come through him.
Yeah, Leicester as well, still great fixtures.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
until City, I think it is in a few weeks.
That's why it's so difficult for us this week, because it's mainly I want to get City coverage in the form of Mendy. Madison and Mitrovic are fighting between themselves, and it's quite important as well because it's based around team structure and value in each position. I suppose I don't want to get too locked into a formation, if that makes sense, about having to take 4-point hits. So yeah, interesting. Lots to think about, and I think for everyone watching as well, keep an eye on the League Cup games or the Carabao Cup games this week, because there may be some surprises in terms of team formations, injuries, and worth keeping an eye on those. Do you want to pick out clean sheets for the weekend? And I shall do the same.
Well, I was going to
I'll let you have two.
I was going to
tonight.
go for a risky one and say Liverpool.
Oh, Liverpool.
Yeah,
okay.
against Arsenal.
Away at Arsenal. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, they're probably going against my transfer of Van Dijk out, but I just think that lapse in concentration against Cardiff, I think they'll rue that and really be annoyed by it. I think Klopp mentioned it in his post-match interview. It was just like, I didn't like that goal going in. None of us did. So, yeah, I think they'll be good against Arsenal.
Okay, I like that. All right, I'll pick one next to then as well. I'm going to say Chelsea at home to Palace. So Palace's 2 goals at the weekend obviously came from penalties. They didn't score in the game before that after missing a penalty. I think if Chelsea don't give away a penalty, they've got a great chance of keeping a clean sheet.
Yep, agree.
Do you want to pick one more?
Ooh,
put you on the spot here,
City, but West Ham against Burnley.
West Ham against Burnley. Okay, you're backing them for the 2nd clean sheet of the season.
Yeah.
Okay, against Burnley, I could see it happening as well.
Probably Newcastle as well. Actually, they like to keep clean sheets.
They do keep.
Watford are in sort of
what?
So yeah, let's go West Ham.
Okay.
Captain.
My second pick out was actually going to be Did you take City? You didn't. Did
I
you?
kind of mentioned it, but yeah.
You kind of mentioned it. Well, I'm going to take
just the easy ones, isn't it?
It is just an easy one. Yeah, I like that you've gone for some difficult ones. Cool. All right. I think.
Do you want to mention captains? Agree.
I do. Yeah, that's a good point. So that I think the options this week: Aguero, Hazard, the main ones. And I'll tell you what, Keek, I'm thinking.
I think
Salah.
Salah could be an option as well.
I'm thinking he's back in form. He scored well against Arsenal, didn't he, last season? Arsenal's defense hasn't been great. I think I'm excited. I like watching like in a high intensity game as well. And with Aguero's reduced minutes, keep coming round. I'd fancy Salah in 90 minutes against Arsenal. Obviously, Hazard against Crystal Palace is a good option.
Yeah.
Palace are quite defensive. I could see them limiting Chelsea to not many chances, whereas Arsenal are going to go for it, aren't they? Leave space.
You'd think so.
It's on Aguero at the moment for the safety pick, but I'm honestly really close to Salah this week.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. But past that, I also think Richarlison and Sigurdsson are good shouts home against Everton.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. We'll keep them on our Twitter feed because we'll post out our teams Friday evening, maybe Saturday morning, and you guys can see what we're up to before the game week starts. So I think that wraps up tonight's show, doesn't it? Thanks to everyone for joining us, and we'll be back next week with our Game Week 11 review and our Game Week 12 preview show. If you listener, have a pressing question, then just drop it in the comment section below or tweet us, and we'll get back to you with our thoughts. And similarly, Kieran and I are always posting questions about our teams as well, so if you want to help us out or answer any questions or say, guys, what about Doherty captain against Tottenham? We might think about it. And if you haven't already, we really appreciate video like and subscribe to make sure you don't miss an episode. So I think until next week, it's goodbye from me and
goodbye.
Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.